Hi, and welcome to the Las Vegas Advisor Weekly Update with Anthony and Andrew. Today is Friday, March 10th, 2023, and the Bally's Horseshoe sign is up. It's no longer Bally's, it's Horseshoe now.
Right. It's been Horseshoe Las Vegas for a while, but now it's officially because they finally got the outside signage up.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. We don't have any photos of it yet. Maybe we'll grab one for next week. But I did see that it was HORS. Almost like they're playing a basketball game, right? Or something.
Right.
You know, on one of the things, and then I got a call from someone else said, nope, it's all the way. It's Horseshoe on the other side. So, you know, we've been waiting. Everything is rebranded from Bally's to Horseshoe Las Vegas, but it's not official until the sign says so, right?
Right. Well, because I've been telling people, I've been calling it Bally's Horseshoe so people know what I'm talking about. Because I feel like if I just say Horseshoe, no one's going to know what I'm referring to.
Well, we wrote in LVA, Las Vegas Advisor, we wrote, maybe we can finally stop saying, in parentheses, formerly Bally's.
Right.
Because we'll just say from now on Horseshoe Las Vegas, which was, they moved the brand from Binion's Horseshoe downtown to the Strip. We've talked about this before. Probably the only thing that will be Horseshoe-like about it will be the name, and they do have the photo opportunity with the $10,000 bills, even though we've determined they're not real either. But the other thing they changed was the famous outside marquee. That was the Bally's marquee. That was always interesting. It was one of the first ones on the Strip that had like a scroll on it, and it would run up-to-date stock prices and scores. All right, so anybody who was betting on a game, you could be driving down the Strip. I've done it many times when you can't find it on the radio or something, and you're watching that scroll to see what the score is of the game you bet.
Oh, that's funny.
So they're moving. They've taken that down. They're putting up their own marquee. I don't know if it'll have the scroll, but there's an interesting story with that. When that first came up, was when the casinos were introducing 6-to-5 blackjack.
Okay.
And the population at large, the gamblers at large, didn't really understand that 6-to-5 was bad compared to 3-to-2.
Right.
Because to them, 6 sounds like more than 3. So the reality is it's about 1.35% worse.
Right.
So if you're playing a game with a blackjack game with, say, a half a percentage point, all of a sudden you're playing at close to minus 2% as opposed to minus 0.5. But what they put on this marquee was they scrolled on the marquee, back by popular demand, 6-to-5 blackjack.
Right.
Popular demand.
The reality is there's no demand for 6-to-5 blackjack. We'd much rather have blackjack pay 3-to-2.
Yeah, the only demand for 6-to-5 was from the casinos themselves.
Right.
And they're just pulling the wool over your eyes with that kind of thing. But never forgot that. We wrote about it in the LVA more than a decade ago and brought it back
funny.
up. Yeah.
That's hilarious. So basically, they're saying we're going to increase the house edge, and you're going to thank us for it.
Yeah. And by the way, somebody asked about 6-to-5 blackjack in the comments.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's your answer. The 6-to-5 game, you would like to stay away from that if you can. You want to look for a blackjack game that pays 3-to-2, and the difference is again about 1.35%.
Well, and you can find those around town at the South Point, at Ellis Island, at the Downtown Grand.
Yeah. There's still a lot of 3-to-2 games on shoes, but when you're talking about single decks, there aren't very many of them anymore.
Okay.
So you got to look around. El Cortez has one, and you got to look around.
All right, Anthony, let's go up north a little bit. We don't talk about Reno too much, but something big is brewing in Reno.
Potentially. It's been announced there's a small casino in Reno called Sands Regency. And that casino's been around since 1970. And when I was playing blackjack professionally, and with the group that I was playing with, we would often go to Reno. There weren't a lot of places you could go back then. You go to Atlantic City, you go to the islands, and then you go all throughout Nevada. We've talked about that. We made many trips to Reno, and I spent many hours, many days in the Sands Regency, which was a kind of a dump.
Okay.
I loved the place and had a lot of fun there. Played some tournaments there and everything else, but it's kind of a dump. But they've changed the name now. It's no longer Sands Regency. It's now called J Resort.
Okay.
Because it's owned by a group called Jacobs Entertainment, so they're calling it J Resort.
Okay.
But this group says they're going to put up to $1 billion into a remake of the place.
So this is going to be a mega resort.
It will be.
To Reno.
It will be the Vegas equivalent of.
Yeah.
And I mean, when they talk about what they're going to put in there, they've said 3 new hotel towers, adding 1,200 rooms to the existing 750. So we'll have almost 2,000 rooms, an amphitheater, a showroom, a dinner theater, and a zip line.
Okay.
Which, if you've ever been, for the viewers who have seen the Sands Regency, it's pretty hard to it's kind of like the stage door here in Vegas, right? All of a sudden becomes a gigantic hotel.
Right. That's
so
funny.
it's interesting. Lots of fun time spent up there, and we'll see what happens.
All right. So, Anthony, they are floating another proposal for a lottery in Nevada. How come there is no lottery in Nevada?
I know, isn't that strange?
Yeah.
It's the Constitution prohibits it.
The Constitution?
Yeah, the state constitution of Nevada prohibits the lottery.
Okay.
And they have never amended that constitution because the lottery would be state competition for what? The privately owned casinos, the corporate-owned casinos.
Got it. Okay.
So, despite the fact that people want to play the lottery, as we see, right? Every time there's a big payout, then what happens?
People go to Arizona and people go to California, the state lines, to go line up
For hours.
Yeah, and go get their Mega Millions tickets.
Have their lottery fix, right?
Yeah.
But the casino organizations have fought tooth and nail against lotteries in Nevada. And it's all about money. There's 44 states in the U.S. have lotteries, and those few that don't, Nevada is one of them. It's just crazy, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
So I don't think, but really, who cares? The lottery is worse than any, when you're talking about odds, the lottery is worse than any game you can play in a casino.
Well, that's true. My father used to always refer to the lottery as the idiot tax.
Right, because you're taking out, they're taking out close to 50% often, depending on where the big jackpot is. But I've never missed it. I'm not a lottery guy, but people want to play it. Do I think it'll happen? It might, but it cannot because of all of the loopholes, the hoops they'd have to jump through. It could not be approved until 2026.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's as early as it could actually be approved, and you would have a Nevada lottery. I'm betting the over on that. I don't think it's going to happen.
You don't think it's going to happen? What about the scratchers?
The same thing. Any kind of lottery like that, you can't do it. You can do it in Nevada for charitable purposes.
Got it.
But no, the regular kind that you see in other states, no can do here.
Okay. All right. So we all know that we hate resort fees, but in President Biden's State of the Union, he talked about the Junk Fee Prevention Act. Now, Anthony, how is this going to affect people coming to Las Vegas and the resort fees in Vegas that we all dislike?
Okay, well, the Junk Fee Prevention Act that Biden referenced is aimed at eliminating surprise fees.
Okay.
All right, so that has to do with like airline, they have all the add-ons and stuff, and bank fees and so forth. And in that group is hotel resort fees. That's going to be a tough thing to happen. They are going to fight, just we talked about the casinos fighting against the lottery, they're going to fight triple hard against something like this. And there are a couple of reasons for that. One of them,
Yeah, one of them I know because I've heard before that the resort fee does not get shared with the Expedias and Pricelines of the world.
Right, OTAs, they're called online travel agencies. And the casinos backed themselves into a corner years and years ago when these places like Travelocity came out and Hotels.com and the whole thing, that they paid them commissions to help fill their rooms. And there were so many rooms in Vegas, they had to do it any way they could. Well, they became so powerful, these OTAs, that their percentages went up and up and up. And they take, sometimes above 40%. So the casinos came up with the idea of resort fees to do two things. One of them was, and like a lot of people say, they just want to keep the base rate low. They want to make it look like it's a bargain, and they want to keep it low. And that's true. That's one of the reasons they did it. But the bigger reason is that the resort fees are not commissionable.
Right.
All right. So if they're charging $17 for a room, they split that with the OTA, and they put a $30 resort fee on top of it. They keep it all.
Yes.
And so it's a big revenue source for the casinos, and it's going to be a very difficult thing for them to get that revoked.
Yes.
And they will fight against it. And the way they're arguing right now is they're saying they're not hidden fees. Everybody knows about resort fees. They're stated up front. Everybody sees it. So they are not affected by this act. And that is a reasonable argument. But I think it's all about the money. And they're just making too much. We don't see resort fees going away anytime soon.
Okay, so the resort fees are here to stay in Las Vegas. But listen, you still get rooms at good prices in Las Vegas still.
Well, that's the thing. I keep making the point that even when you add the resort fees on and you make a comparison with other cities with accommodations,
yes,
it's still a bargain in Vegas, even when the resort fees are attached to it, right? So, and member rewards, Las Vegas Advisor members, you can use your member rewards book to eliminate resort fees at Downtown Grand and knock off a portion of them at Arizona Charlie's.
That's right. All right. So in this segment, we want to try to share something with you that you may not normally see. And this is something that Anthony found. The BBC did it, and it's on YouTube, and it's got fewer than 1,000 views.
Yes. Well, I didn't find it. Somebody, wrote into us, one of our reporters out there, and said, "Have you seen this?" And this is what this is. We're going to have a link to it in the description box, and it is footage from a documentary that I don't think ever saw the light of day on TV, and it was made in 1980.
Okay.
And what's interesting about this is, I came to Vegas in late 1979. All right, so I'd been here when this video was being made. I'd been here only a couple of months, and looking at this, I think anybody who's really a Vegas file, if they really dig Vegas, they're going to like to watch this because you see things, the way they were back in 1980.
Yeah.
I mean, this is crazy. Some of the numbers that they're quoting, 460,000 people was the population. Now we're over 2 million. Right. The 12 million visitors a year. They were saying 12 million a year. Well, last year we had almost 40 million.
That's right.
So I mean, you can see how things change. There's footage of downtown where you see all these casinos that are no longer there, right? There's footage of the dunes. There's footage of the sands. It's pretty wild to watch.
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
It's fun. So I mean, we're going to put a link to it so people can go look. One interesting thing, at about the 25-minute mark, they're showing a poker game ostensibly between Bobby Baldwin, who we've talked about before,
right,
and
the pool game,
right, and somebody named Eugene Scott.
Okay,
and Bobby Baldwin's playing Eugene Scott in this poker game. One problem: Eugene Scott is not Eugene Scott. It's Stu Unger.
Huh. Okay.
It's Stu Unger. They used to call him the Kid. And Stu Unger, one of the most famous poker players of all time. Also, all kinds of demons, died of drug overdose. But two-time winner of the World Series of Poker main event. And it's Stu Unger against Bobby Baldwin. So you can watch that in this video as well.
And Bobby Baldwin was the casino executive who lost playing pool and Rum Runner.
Right, that we talked about in other editions.
Previous episodes. All right, so that's pretty cool. Put the link in the description box below. Check it out.
Yeah, you're gonna want to watch this. It's pretty interesting to watch.
All right, and in this week's Jackpot of the Week, it comes to us from Nick L. He says, "I was staying at the new Horseshoe Casino," which we just talked about earlier in the episode, this past week, and I had a $64 Tito ticket in my pocket, and I decided to sit in the lobby bar and play the $2 denom, $10 per hand, to burn through the ticket. I normally only play 25-cent video poker. I never play this high, especially with the 7-5 awful pay table. I was playing triple-double bonus, and I got lucky and hit my biggest jackpot ever in Vegas when I held 2 aces, and I hit 2 more with the kicker for $8,000.
So how much did he have? $64?
Yeah, $64 on his Tito ticket.
Everyone's done that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's done that. You get to the point where you just go, I don't really want to go cash this out. Maybe I can get lucky, right?
Yeah.
And so let's just pump it up. Let's pump up the denom.
Let's go crazy.
Yeah. So he hits aces with a kicker, which is in triple-double. It pays the same as a royal.
That's incredible. Yeah.
So that's... Now, was that really a wise move? Well, it sure was, based on what happened. But the game he was playing, he's right, 7-5 triple-double bonus pays back 94.92%.
Okay.
That's a 5% game.
So that's really not a good pay schedule at all.
Terrible.
Yeah.
And he knows it. And, he said so. And again, he was just kind of like, who cares? I'm just going to do this. Triple-double bonus, if you find the full pay version, you can find them around, goes from 7.5 to 9.7. And that's about a 99.6% return.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the triple double can be really good if you find the right game. We're talking about 7-5 or 9-7 for the full house and the flush, the payoffs with one coin.
But then you wouldn't get the full royal equal to the royal flush for the aces with the kicker.
Yeah, you still do. You still do on no matter
wow.
what. But the big difference is this is shows why those middle payoffs are so important. Everything else about the game would be the same. Only that would be the difference. There would be a difference of, you add them up, 7-5 is 12 and 9-7 is 16. That's a difference of 4.
Yeah.
4 pips, right? Yeah. And it's about 1.1% per. So almost, somewhere around 4.5% difference just because of those changes in the middle.
Sure. Absolutely. And triple-double, you also get double your money for 3 of a kind.
Well, triple-double is one of those like, I want big payoffs games.
Yeah.
That's like my money's going to go away probably pretty fast unless I get the big payoffs. So.
Unless you do, I mean, you play the game just for that to happen. Yeah. Maybe I get the aces with the kicker.
Yeah, and he does it on a throwaway, going, just get rid of my tickets. So thanks for sending that one in. That was when I saw that, I was like, wow, that's pretty nice. $64 throwaway to $8K. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's a really nice hand pay, and I like that he's got the cash right there on the table.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Show us, baby.
All right. Way to go, Nick. Congratulations. That's it for this week. Anything to add, Anthony?
No, this was just kind of a fun one, a little bit of conversation. And we'll be back next week, right?
Yep. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week.